Hello, one and all. Just a quick announcement for you. One of my supporters, I can actively call him a supporter. He's been a supporter for a long time. I've chatted with him on a regular basis on the main podcast at cryptotalkradio.net. And he's been a long time. He's from like the old school of the podcast. And for those that don't know, podcast originated in the beginning of October. YouTube showed up in January, I believe January or possibly early February, but it was early 2022. YouTube came in response to a desire to find different subscribers because we knew that there were subscribers that were not necessarily podcast fans, but they wanted to at least listen to coverage on a platform of choice, that being YouTube. So we set up the YouTube, and the YouTube has been growing steadily. It looks like it's running up close to 600 subscribers, finally catching up to Combat Talk Radio. That was shocking to me that Combat Talk Radio completely blew past crypto, but crypto is now catching up thanks to our Libero coverage. So this supporter, and I want to give him a shout out because he is part of the reason that I constantly try to challenge myself to step up the game. And he mentioned he was a fan, for those that don't know, because on YouTube you wouldn't have if you were only YouTube. When I started the podcast had a completely different format than what it does now. What you get on YouTube was basically what the podcast was. It was bite-sized chunks of a thing, more frequent updates, but they were bite-sized chunks, more streamlined. And what that unfortunately did is it caused not burnout, but I started to get tired of doing it. Whereas with YouTube, it's different because I'm responding. I'm actively responding to things. I'm not forcing myself to upload. I'm just responding to what's in front of me. The podcast, of course, only records twice. So that cadence works very well. It means that now there's from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, 4 days, I don't have to record on Crypto Talk Radio. Mondays and Wednesdays is Casual Talk Radio, and that's usually an hour per, and it may or may not have a guest. And then Crypto Talk is Tuesday, Thursday for the full podcast. And then YouTube is whenever I feel like doing it. That worked. However, he brought to my attention that he was a big fan of the prior format. He wanted to make sure that he didn't miss any content, and I appreciate that. So I needed to figure out a way to solve this quandary. How do I get it to where there's a unified voice for the brand, for the show? And unfortunately, the tools that at one point could have solved this problem have all shut down, believe it or not. And try as I might, I wasn't able to find a packaged out of the box tool that could do what I needed to do, which is deal with the limitation of YouTube, that being that it does not allow you access directly to the audio without jumping through hoops because they don't want you stealing other people's audio. So that left me a couple of options, one of them not ideal. However, I was able to solve it. And I'm giving this update on YouTube because there may be people on YouTube that are interested in this. I mentioned on the main podcast, we have launched the new site, cryptotalkradio.net, that I encourage everybody to take a look at that's a fan of what we do. We've launched our new supporter structure. We're going to be unifying all that with the tipping because this structure actually has its own built-in tipping. So we're going to be unifying everything together, but that's over time. We launched the new supporter structure. Supporter structure, I think, is one of the best in the business, given what you get and for the price that you get it. I'm not going to go and bore you with the details here. If you're interested, you're free to go to cryptotalkradio.net and click on Triad Member in the upper right. Triad is the name of the membership for the supporters. Triad gives you a number of benefits. Some of those benefits are going to involve YouTube at some point. However, if you're not a supporter, a paid supporter, you won't be able to see the video version of those benefits. That's one of the perks that the paid folks get. And that's why I'm giving the announcement to you here, because if there are people that would like to see video, that would like to have AMAs, that would like to have live chats, that would like to have live interactions, that would like to have live community, you're going to want to be a Triad supporter. And I'm pretty sure that when you look at it, you'll agree that it's pretty darn fair for what I'm giving, because there's a lot I give for free. All the audio is always free. The regular YouTube channel is always free. You can always access any of the other two podcast audio for free. Our site's all free. You can listen to stuff on the site for free. We give a lot for free. There are certain things that are value add that I believe that paid supporters should be entitled to, and you should want to pay for them to help support the show so we can do more of it. As we continue our mission to try to get tokens that want the smoke. And that's one of the hardest things that I've had to learn about this business. So many tokens don't want that smoke, and it's unfortunate. So, in order to accommodate my supporter and show the appreciation by overcoming the challenge, I created a solution. It is exclusive to Triad supporters. But what it does is it gives you a dedicated podcast feed that unifies the main podcast. It gives you access to that, and it gives you access to the YouTube as audio, as a podcast. Why would you want to do that? Well, as a podcast, that means you can add it to a podcast app on your phone or your tablet, and it'll notify you when there's a new episode. You can download it and you can listen to it offline. So unlike YouTube, you're not forced to be online all the time. Unlike YouTube, you're not subject to ads whenever they feel like putting them in front of me. And unlike YouTube, you're not spammed with a bunch of suggested crap off to the side. So there's a number of benefits for people that just want the audio, considering mine is just audio any damn way. And I figured there may be people that are interested in such a thing. But you'll have to invest in, get a podcast app, and it's free, but invest time setting it up. Once you set it up, I argue that if you like audio and that's all you care about, I think it's a pretty good option. That will be available if you become a supporter, only if you become a supporter, will not be available otherwise. You are free to find your own way to turn, if you want, my channel into a podcast. You're free to do that. I'll warn you, it's going to cost you some money, but you're free to do that if you want to do that, no matter how you do it, because it's a very challenging process, unfortunately. So that's now available for all supporters, the ability to listen to our show, the YouTube channel, as a podcast. As such, it now has a new brand. That brand is going to start launching. I'm probably going to launch it early next week with the Tuesday episode, with the new brand that I've come up with, because it is now its own podcast officially. Once that's all rolled out, you'll see new branding on the video uploads that we do. And then going forward, that branding is going to be in place. And then anybody who's a supporter will experience that new brand as part of the video and everything that they have access to. So that's my update for you. Hopefully that, if anybody is of interest, again, cryptotalkradio.net is where you want to go. Triad member on the upper right, and you can see all the different plans and see the kind of stuff that we're offering. And like I said, I think it's some of the best in the business. And there's a lot coming down the pipe because I focused very heavily on the brand. The brand is very important. That's why I don't go and shill and do all that, because I don't need to. I wanted to create a brand and have that credibility and offer more than anybody else is offering right now for a very fair price, and work towards that community aspect, strong community aspect, but also something that's going to last the test of time. And I think I've got it. I think I got it done. So that's all I got, folks. I actually have a surprise for some of you. I don't know when I'm going to release this, but I have a surprise for some of you on the YouTube. There's going to be a couple more coverages for tokens that I covered before that I'm going to be circling back on. One of them, I have to debate when and whether I upload that, dude, because I already know, you're just a hater, deep is coming my way, and I got to decide if I want to deal with that nonsense again or if I want to just ignore it and totally not cover that project. So I got some soul searching I got to do. Just suffice it to say, there is more coverage happening soon. I'll leave you with this, though. If you are in Libero as an investor and you like our coverage and you think it's helpful and you think it's helpful to other people investing in the project, and you agree, as I've said, that the devs simply suck at explaining what they have, I implore you, tell them, reach out to them. I've tried. They don't want my smoke. Get them to talk to me on my show so that I can help them. And by helping them, I help the project. Get them to talk to me. That's all you got to do. I'm not coming to their telescam. They don't really push telescam, but I'm not going to their telescam in any event. I'm not going to Twitter Spaces. I'm not going to any forum they control. That's not the way it works. They come to a forum I control, which for me is a studio that I've, not physical studio, but an online studio that I've created for this new world that I'm going into. And I want to welcome and help them succeed, because I think a lot of what they're challenging with right now is simply a matter of the fact that they suck at explaining what they're doing. I think it's that easy. So let's solve it together. If you're in it and you want them to get help, get them to come on the show. It's free. I don't charge them to come on the show and talk to me. That rhymes. All right. See you guys.